So look, ladies and gentlemen, there's a big elephant in the room that I feel as though we need to address, and I can try to avoid it. I can try to hide it. But I just feel like moving on and continuing on with Agency Navigator without addressing this, for me, it's like you're already thinking, you're already thinking it right now. So it's just, I don't know, avoiding the topic, dancing around the topic. There's just no real point. So I know that you are wondering, Iman, why does it look like your arms are the arms of a 4-year-old? Where has your hair gone?
Probably think because of the beard that I'm really hairy. But I'm not shaved.
And that's a great question. And I just feel as though that may have been distracting. If I didn't give you an answer, it may have been distracting. And you may have not been able to focus entirely on what's about to be an incredible and value-packed module. So guys, this program takes a long time to make. All right, all jokes aside, I thought I would just tell you, I had to shave off all my arms. Basically, I was getting like 4 tattoos retouched and another one. So I was like, because they're patchy, I was like, let me just shave off all my arm hair and, I'll come back, in the next few weeks, a couple months, whatever. So yeah, and that goes to show, guys, the entire process of creating this program, it's already been 6 months, right? And I'm nowhere near even being close to being done, right? So I think all in all, it'll probably take 9 months. If I include the platform, the time it's taking to create the platform, this entire, to present to you what I'm presenting to you has taken 2 years, right? And almost well over $1 million, almost a couple $1 million, right? Like it's, the amount of work that's gone into this is just obnoxious, right? And when it comes to presenting, I've done things a little different this time. I spent mainly most of the time sort of front loading the work in terms of the slides and just trying to get most of the slides done first. And that's taken me half a year or 4.5, 5 months, and decided to leave the last sort of 35% of slides, 30% slides towards the tail end. But my point is, even just in terms of recording, you guys are going to see me through many, many months. So, sometimes you'll notice I have a tan, I don't have a tan, my hair's longer, my hair's shorter. And you might even notice it between the different phases, because sometimes there's certain modules that, I might record 80% of a phase, but then leave the other 20% because there's such a dance between that and the custom platform, which obviously, all of this stuff is being done before you get to see it. But on my end, there might be roadblocks here and that I have to address with the custom platform to then be able to record the module, et cetera, et cetera. So, if you guys ever wonder, hey, in one module, Iman's got a new tattoo, or like his tattoo looks different than another module, that's why. Or if you're like, oh, Iman has more hair here than he does another one, or he looks more tan or less tan, that's why. So with that long-winded, just sort of, just to give you guys context, like how much of a process this has been to get this to you guys. Probably 80% of you guys didn't need to hear that. Don't care about my arm hair situation, but I thought it'd be a good leeway into explaining how much work went into this. So apart from that, let's stop dancing around the real topic today, and let's get into today's module. So creating an irresistible offer and angle. So in today's teachings, we are going to go over creating an offer based on your pricing model, extrapolating an angle from your outreach, examples of irresistible offers, examples of irresistible angles, how to find an angle that resonates, and my journey with market message. So crafting an offer. So the term irresistible offer was a term, as far as I know, coined by Russell Brunson, the founder of ClickFunnels. And really at the core of it, an irresistible offer is just how do you present something in front of your client that is, your prospective client, that it's so tantalizing that just the way that you frame it is just so on point, and also any of their limiting beliefs or any of the objections they might have, you kind of front load the work, because your offer actually squashes any of those objections they may have ahead of time, right? And that's really what an irresistible offer is. And really when it comes to sales, most of it, if you can front load most of the work, as in like your offer is so good, or even the angle to the meeting is so good that it can squash any of these concerns that they have, the easier it'll make it, downstream. So your service selection gives you clarity on your pricing model. Okay, really understand this. Your service selection gives you clarity and gives you an indication towards what sort of pricing model you use. Your pricing model gives you an indication as to your irresistible offer. Now, before we get into it, I'm going to talk about this, but this is a bit more of an advanced, concept, but I felt as though it was still worth sharing it here inside of Agency Navigator, because you need to understand, like a lot of the stuff that I say, this is high level, but you don't necessarily need to apply it. Because here's the thing, if you have selected your service, you've selected your niche, and you have a clear pricing model, that already puts you in the top 1% of agencies. You need to understand that in this program, it's a bit of an echo chamber. You think that every other agency is as well structured as us. You need to understand that 99% of agencies, and this will get to a point when, you may already have clients, but it'll get to a point where you'll speak to your clients about experiences with past agencies, and you'll be shocked. Like literally, you will be dumbfounded the way that some of these agencies operate. So you need to understand that the etiquette that we have in this program and the way that we conduct ourselves as agency owners, that's not the norm, guys. Okay, so just by selecting your niche, selecting your service, having a clear pricing model, that alone puts you in the top 1%. Okay, so this isn't an absolute must, but I thought I'd still share this concept with you. So really just understand that this is for people that want to take everything that I've taught so far and they want to take it a step further, right? But it's not necessary, and especially for beginners, it's not necessary. Because here's the thing, for the first year of my agency, I was offering multiple services to multiple different niches. Eventually, I got my act together and picked one service and picked one niche. And that was really 18 months into my journey. I guess a year from the point in which I would say, August 2016 was when I signed my first client, but like really when my agency took off was March of 2017. So it was only a year after that I really knuckled down on one service and one niche. And when I knuckled down to just one service, one niche, I used a flat retainer pricing model, and I did that for the next, 2018, 2019 towards the end, we started adding some performance, right? So I did that for the next 18 months, and then I started to add a bit of performance, but it was only 2020 where I really, performance was a good, accounted for a good size of our business. And then it was only 2021 where, it's majority of my agency's revenue. And not only that, we have a strong angle. Prior to mid 2020, right? So basically for the first 4 years of my agency, I didn't have any angle. Like I didn't have this offer, this irresistible offer that I'm going to be talking to you guys about. So my point is that what I'm going to show you guys here, it should get your juices flowing, but it's not an absolute must. So here are some examples of irresistible offers. Now, guys, there are dozens and dozens more, and you can consult with your accountability partner and share some cool ideas. You can consult with the community and share some ideas there. Okay. And by the way, the market is so big that it's fine. You can share what irresistible offer you implemented and worked really well and really resonated with your market. Okay. So here's some examples, but you can use many, many more. So the first one is 20 leads per month minimum or money back. Right now it can be 10, it can be 15, it can be 50, whatever works well for you. And this is a very simple offer to understand that works great when you have more experience, right? Because here's the thing, if you've been running your agency for a while now and historically you can get 30 leads per month for clients, well, you've given yourself a pretty good margin of safety. Right? So if historically you're able to achieve 30 leads per month for your clients, if you're guaranteeing 20 leads per month or their money back, that if you got them less than 20 leads, you would probably feel really bad about yourself anyways. Like ethically, you probably wouldn't even want to keep the money, right? So you're giving yourself a really big margin of safety with that one. Next is flat $500 per month fee plus, number you can count with your right hand of ad profits, right? And this is a super transparent model where they have some buy-in with a flat fee, and they know you only take a small percentage of ad profits. And really, a lot of the offer comes to the wording, right? You notice there I said, when you're speaking to clients or when you're reaching out to clients, or maybe you can even have it as branding as a part of your website, you can see here, right? I'm going, hey, the offer and the way that you present this to the market is we have a really simple pricing model. We just charge a flat $500 a month fee, right? And that's just a retainer you pay every month just to show us you're not a tire kicker. And then we take a tiny, minuscule percentage of ad profit. I'm talking about a percentage that's so tiny, you can count it on just your right hand. And guys, you notice how that's very different to being like, oh, and we take a percentage of performance, because in their mind, they could be thinking, fuck, I might get on these calls and on a call with this agency and they might take 30% of my performance, right? So the thing is, you're keeping it very open-ended because it can be anywhere from 1 to 5%. Right? It can be somewhere within that. So you're keeping it open-ended. You're not boxing yourself in, but it's a very, very easy model to understand. Right? So, and this is a model that I would even potentially use with my agency. Hey, we just do a flat X amount retainer and we charge a tiny percentage of profit and we charge a tiny percent of profits, so small you can even count it on just your right hand. Because as I said, this is a very easy offer for your clients and your potential clients to understand. And keep in mind, that model is, at the core of it, is still base plus performance, is just the angle that you give it, right? And by the way, guys, remember in the last module, I talked about how, every year, multiple times a year, there's this new SMA tactic, hack, trick, best method, but it all comes down to just fundamental principles. It just all comes down to fundamental principles that have just been repackaged up and people get excited about it, right? And here's the thing, I'm warning of you guys that at the end of the day, it always comes down to timeless principles, but that doesn't mean that you can't use that to full effect, right? Really what we're doing right here is we're using a timeless pricing model, but then we're adding some flair to it, right? So clients get excited, right? So it's something they've never heard of before, right? It's really, you're just rewording it, okay? So I'm saying you need to not fall prey to that fallacy, but yeah, definitely use it as a way to market and pitch your offer. The next one is performance only model. Now this is where you angle your service as performance only. And this is a very easy offer to present to clients. You just go, hey, we hunt for you and we just take the little scraps at the end. And by the way, guys, you can make this a whole part of your branding, your marketing, something that's very close to us that we talk about all the time. We even have it on our website, which I need to change soon just because the amount of people that copy our stuff. I mean, it's within 24 hours of, me creating a new funnel or website, I know things are about to get copied very, very soon, right? But on our website, you'll see a wizard, right? And the reason I say that is because I always refer to us as modern day alchemists, because we make something out of nothing. Now with this performance only model, you can, once again, you're just rewording stuff, okay? You're just rewording the offer to make it more enticing and to not sound like every other agency. Now, as I said, this isn't absolutely necessary. For the first 4 years of my agency, I was very successful by basically sounding like every other agency, right? Because I was doing enough outflow that brought in enough inflow and we had enough good results to warrant it, okay? So you don't need to do this, but my point is, with this performance only model, you can even make the branding of your agency something to do with wolves or lions, right? And you can be like, hey, we're gonna hunt for you, but unlike the leader of the pack that takes all the spoils, we're gonna let you have all the spoils and we just take a sliver at the end. Right? And that's just a way to sort of visualize the fact that, hey, you're going to go out there, you're going to hunt for your clients, they're going to take home everything and you're just going to take a tiny sliver at the end. It's, as I said, it's just different ways to angle your offer, different ways to frame your offer that excites clients and go, okay, I can understand this. This is easy to digest. The next one is we generate, qualify, and call leads for you. That should say leads for you. And something like this irresistible offer really puts the client's mind at ease because they know that you handle the entire process end to end and only bring them the most qualified leads. So for example, if you're working with real estate agents, you go, hey, we generate, pre-qualify, and even call the leads for you and present them to you in a nice, beautiful little package. So that way you can only have the best of the leads to reach out to. Right? As I said, you're not, with all of these offers, it's nothing that I haven't already talked about in in previous modules on, pricing models. Okay. What it is just a different offer. And by the way, that's really the role of most marketers, that they take an offer and the main thing is, how do I knock down any sort of limiting beliefs and how do I sort of pre-calm the mind of a prospective client or customer. Right? But because you already know some of the things that they may be concerned about and you squash it then and there before it even becomes a limiting belief because it's a core part of the offer. Ladies and gents, these are just some loose ideas for irresistible offers. As I said, I didn't want to throw this in phase 3 when it comes to pricing and stuff like that because this is some more advanced techniques. So here's the thing, if you're first starting, it's fine not to implement this and you can come back to this even in 2 years. Guys, it took me 4 years to really have any sort of differentiating factor when it came to my pricing model than any other agencies, okay? Or a very sort of nice headline offer, okay? So you can totally make some notes on this and then revisit this in a couple years and think about some of your own irresistible offers. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next section where we actually talk about some irresistible angles for the meeting. So let's talk about the angle to meeting. The most important thing that you need to remember when you're pitching to clients is that this isn't their first rodeo. You're not the first person to reach out to them, and you're probably not even the first person to actually pitch them in a sales meeting. And for that reason, you need to leave the marketing jargon at the door. Okay, you need to leave the false scarcity, all the mind tricks, because look, they're not dumb. And I think that's something that us as agency owners, we forget sometimes. Like we think that we can, basically we think that we can fool clients, right? And you can't. Like people aren't dumb. these clients that we're reaching out to aren't dumb. Okay, so you can't just like trick them into getting a meeting. And I think this is something really important when we're talking about an angle to the meeting. Okay, because you can't just trick them into the meeting, or you can't say, hey, the meeting is for this purpose. And then when you get on the meeting with them, you sell them aggressively and you go a totally different direction as to, what they were expecting from the call. So here are some examples of angle to meeting. And as I said, there are dozens and dozens more. Now, the first is a 15-minute demo. Now, this is what I use, right? Whenever a client wants to work with us, they first have a 15-minute demo with Danny, okay? It's not flashy at all, but the benefit of this is that there's a clear time constraint, and this screams to a client that there will be no selling going on here, which puts them at ease, right? I think a client would be much more on edge if, the meeting was 45 minutes and it was with me, right? And it was framed as a integration call or a discovery call or this or that. Whereas a 15-minute demo, I mean, innately, when you're demoing something, you're actually, like, for example, if a software company is demoing something to you, they're actually presenting something and almost pitching themselves to you, right? And that kind of puts you at ease. So with this 15-minute demo, a couple cool things is there's a time constraint. So a client knows, hey, it's only going to go on for 15 minutes. They know it's a demo. So, hey, they know that we're actually going to be the ones that not entirely selling ourselves, but we're the ones that are going to be presenting what we can do. And at the end, we'll figure out whether it makes sense to move forward. So as I said, this isn't, it's not really flashy. It's not really innovative, but it does really well for us and it serves us well. Next thing is 3-page ad audit. Now you can use an angle to the meeting that you never pitch a client until you sign an NDA, audit their ad account as an analyst. So you come in and get analyst access, present a report, and give them estimations as the results you could bring in. Ladies and gents, this is a great way to get clients, especially later down the line. So once again, the angle to the meeting is, look, we will never sign a client, or we'll never even discuss working together until we sign an NDA. We come in as an analyst. We take a look at any of the inefficiencies in the ad account. We present them to you in a 3-page ad report, and then we'll give you estimations as to whether we think we can improve it, and if we can improve it, to what effect can we improve your current campaigns, and only then will we talk about the potential of working together. So this is a really good angle to meeting because, rather than giving them a free audit or this or that, this is like some serious, it takes a lot of work and, some serious heavy duty shit, right? Because you actually have to you have to have that first call, understand their business, you have to sign an NDA, then audit their ad account, then present them with a report, and then have another follow-up call to go over the report and then talk about potentially working together, right? So it's a bit of a process, but the conversion rate is super, super high on it. And it definitely does set yourself apart from other agencies. Next one is 3 pieces of copy on me, okay? So here, all you're doing is you're really using the sniper approach here, but you send 3 pieces of copy as a showcase of what you can do to a prospective client in order to get them on a call. So this works really, obviously, this works for email marketing agencies. If you're a copywriter and you do back-end webinar funnel emails or sales page, like write out the copy for sales page, et cetera, et cetera. So here, you're doing a lot of work because you're writing some copy, but then again, it's also really good practice. So 3 pieces of copy on me, right? And this is a good angle to get them onto the meeting. Next is coffee on me. So you actually tell the client that after the meeting, you'll send them a $10 Starbucks gift card so they can have a coffee while they think over the service offering. So Starbucks actually has this thing where you can send someone a gift card and you actually don't get charged on your card until they redeem it. So you could technically send this to, and most people actually don't know about this. And by the way, I feel as though this is going to get super saturated after this. Here are some examples of angles to meeting, but you don't have to use this. Also keep in mind, with this Starbucks thing is like, hey, if you actually send it to 100 prospects and 10 claim, obviously it's going to cost you $100, right? So you have to be, very wary of it. And who knows, maybe that week you're just unlucky and 30 of the 100 prospects claim it, and by the way, I've found in the past, because I've actually used this in the past, very, very few prospects actually claim the Starbucks gift card. Okay, so that's one thing to mention. So yeah, long story short, this is a very, very cool way to go about angle to meeting is you go, hey, here's what we're going to do. On this meeting, you don't have to make a decision, anything like that. I'm going to come in, I'm going to demo the way that we work. I'll ask you some questions about your situation. I'll be very honest with you as to whether we can get you results. And before the meeting, I'm actually going to send you a $10 Starbucks gift card. So after our meeting is done, go ahead, buy yourself a nice latte, buy yourself a nice shortbread, and, mull over everything that we've talked about. And as I said, this is a really nice way to kind of make the impersonal personal. The other thing, once again, it's the same core fundamentals, but there's so many different ways you can twist it. The other thing you can say is, hey, let's have a e-meeting. Let's have coffee over an e-meeting, blah, blah, this, that, however you decide to pitch your agency. And then at the end you go, hey, here's a $10 Starbucks gift card. I'll pop to my local Starbucks. You pop to your local Starbucks, and, we'll share a coffee as we go over some of the stuff in the call. And this is a different angle than the other angle, which is really just the same thing. You're selling with a $10 Starbucks gift card, but with one, you're saying, hey, we'll have a Starbucks together on the call as we go over this. And the other one, you're saying, hey, after the call, here's a $10 Starbucks gift card, so you can go have a coffee and you can think about everything that we talked about, right? So here's, really, I'm just throwing a lot of stuff at you. You can find what works for you. And this is probably stuff that, very few other people will talk about in terms of angle, offer, and really how to reposition something when, as I said, in an agency, you really don't have many unique selling propositions. And as I said, you can look at an agency right here that has been ridiculously successful. I mean, look, I'll be honest, I don't know many people who make as much profit from their agency as we do at my agency that has the fucking shittiest name on earth, IAG Media. I mean, hey, but maybe by the time that you're watching this, we would have rebranded. Many of you guys who know me or know the agency a little bit better, pretty much everyone in CPA, knows that I've been basically spending a year trying to get this domain, offered $90,000 for this .com domain. Still, the person doesn't want to sell it. So yeah, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe I might have to fucking end up offering $200,000 to get this freaking domain. My team think I'm crazy for doing it, but I don't know. The longevity of it, and as I said, because we're going into a private equity agency hybrid, like I feel as though there's a lot of value to this domain. But anyways, I digress. My point is, my agency with the fucking just most childish name on earth, IAG Media, the name that doesn't make any sense. We make illegal, aggressive amounts of money.
Legalized bank robbing, I'm the best.
Right? And we did that with no USP for the longest time, right? And basically for the first 4 years. So my point is, as an agency, there's really not many unique selling propositions that you have. There's not many things that actually set you apart. So when you tweak your offer or tweak your angle, right, and you basically just reword it, then that is one way to really set yourself apart from other agencies when you actually haven't really changed that much. And as I said, there are plenty more. Okay, you can get creative and write down a few more options of angles to meeting. Remember that you always want to sell the meeting, not the service. And the last thing to remember, and I've talked about this before, is remember that over the years, you will close the distance between your niche and you, right? You will start to understand your niche so intimately, okay? You will understand the things that will make them fucking run downstairs, grab their credit card, throw it on the table, and tell you their details. Not that we actually take credit card details on the calls. They actually pay the invoice, but you stay on the call while they pay the invoice. You already know this stuff. But my point is, you'll learn the terminology, you'll learn the angles, the offers, the things that are important to them, right? And you'll learn that over time. Okay, so just understand that this is really something that will develop over years. Okay, I'll give you a perfect example with my agency. I think I mentioned in one of the previous modules that a lot of the e-commerce business owners that we work with now, our deals are structured where, let's say they have a track record of doing 200,000 a month return on ad spend. Okay, so that's their track record. On average, they're able to, some months will be higher, some months will be less. And, we'll never take into consideration Black Friday or any big sales. But, on a regular sort of months, they're able to accomplish 200K in return on ad spend. Well, then in those deals, what we'll do is we'll say, hey, we actually won't take a penny until we'll take their average, and then we'll give ourselves a 20% margin of safety. So, from 200K, it'll be down to 160. So we go, hey, we actually won't even take a penny performance until we hit you 160K, until we pretty much hit your benchmark of what you've been able to accomplish. Now, it took me years and years of selling e-commerce businesses to understand that was a pretty, that was an important stipulation. And not many agencies are, actually, I've never heard of an agency doing that, or at least, many people in CPA are, but until I started doing it, I didn't really know of many agencies that went, hey, we're not going to take a penny, right? Because many people, or a lot more agencies have started to charge performance, but, a smart e-commerce owner, doesn't want to give even 3% return on ad spend on 200K. So they're paying, they're paying you a 6K performance fee just to get the same results that they're already managing to get, right? So this is stuff where even 4 years into my journey, I started to realize, right? And this is about a year ago that I was like, okay, I should probably do it where we take a benchmark of what they've already been able to accomplish, and we're not going to take a penny of that, right? And we're actually going to, we will give ourselves a 20% margin of safety. So then that way it's such a pure relationship with the client where we have a low base. Most of our money comes from performance. And more importantly, we're not taking a penny of performance until we're able to hit the baseline of what they've been able to do. Okay. So there's an example right there of how my offer has evolved over the years as I've closed the gap between my niche and me. And I've started to understand my niche more intimately. So ladies and gents, the action step for today is I want you to think of one angle to meeting and one offer. And I want you to post it in the community so that way we can bounce some ideas off of each other. And that way, someone can play devil's advocate and say, hey, but what would you say if a client said this or that? And that's really what the community is here for. So ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much wraps it up for today's module. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you guys didn't mind my, I was gonna say baby hairs, but I actually have no hairs left. Actually, I shaved like 3 days ago, so I think I had a little bit of stubble coming through. But anyways, my point is, I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you in the next module.